Get ready for a blockbuster CFA doubleheader college football Saturday. It's the best doubleheader we've had in our 10-year history. And it all begins with the number 7 Pitt Panthers against the number 1 Fighting Irish. We're live from Notre Dame Stadium. Hello, everyone. I'm Tim Brando, welcoming you to a great day of college football. The impact of today's 2 games that you'll see on ESPN will echo throughout the remainder of the college football season. The impact of last week's game between Southern Cal and Notre Dame has been felt here at Notre Dame. It all began against SC with a very ugly incident. The episode in the tunnel certainly proved the rivalry was intense, and the Rocket may have had tunnel vision early on. And Southern Cal freshman quarterback Todd Marinovich took advantage. The Trojans won the battle of the first half 17-7. But the Irish reloaded their ammunition for the second, and the Rockets set a new course. Destination end zone. There was no room for error this time, as Tony Rice had to fight his way through a Southern California minefield. He survived, and Notre Dame seized the lead. Marinovich had one last grenade to throw, but it was a dud. Notre Dame had found light at the end of that tunnel and had won the war 28-24. Vince Dooley, who joins me. While the tunnel may have been center ring and the focus of many people's attention, what's lost is that how great a game that football game was between SC and Notre Dame.
Tim, it was a spectacular game. The key factor, Notre Dame won despite the fact they were outplayed statistically. They turned the ball over 5 times. The only way you're going to win that way against a good team is have that special quality of a champion, and that is what Notre Dame has had the last 2 years.
But the brawl in the tunnel has been the focus. And by the way, you probably remember this man from the pits in auto racing. Well, we've taken him out of the pits and down near the tunnel. I'm talking about Dr. Jerry Punch with the latest on the tunnel controversy today. Jerry?
Well, thank you, Tim Brando. You know, the ugly scene that occurred here at the tunnel a week ago has served as a source of embarrassment and distraction for both the Notre Dame players and coaching staff all week long. But no one is anguished more over what happened than head football coach Lou Holtz. Holtz, who prides himself on building a program stocked with very well-mannered and well-disciplined athletes, was very upset. He said, despite the provocation that occurred from the opposing team, he as the host coach will take full responsibility for what happened. He says, I vow it will never, ever happen again. And to keep that vow, he changed tradition. For 20 years, Coach Holtz has had the final pregame warm-up, a punt here in the end zone, with the players lined up across the end line. Today, when they punted, the players were on the opposite sidelines of the field, far away from this tunnel and far away from the Pittsburgh players. Tim Brando, it appears the focus today will not be on fighting, but rather on good, hard-nosed college football.
Thank you, Doctor, and it should be a great game today, particularly, Vince, when you consider the explosive athletes the Irish have.
Well, when everybody says Notre Dame, they say big play. And the reason is they have so many exceptional athletes that can make big plays. The Rocket, Tony Rice, and many others. So what's going to happen? That during the course of this game, one or more of those athletes going to make a big play that will drastically affect the outcome of this game.
All right, I want to put you in Mike Gottfried's shoes. Knowing that, what as a defense can you do to perhaps win this football game?
Well, obviously, you got to minimize the big play. But secondly, you got to get Notre Dame out of its rhythm. And their rhythm is to run the football and to throw it and to move the chains. What Pitt has to do is force Notre Dame. Make them throw the football. They don't want to be made to throw the football.
And a major footnote, Gottfried has to be aware of the special teams and what can he do in the kicking game to prevent the big play.
Coach Gottfried is not going to challenge the Rocket. He's not going to punt to him. He's not going to kick off to him. He's got several ways that he's going to try to get the ball away from him. We'll see what they are.
All right, and you're about to look at a very focused, relaxed, patient Pitt Panther football team, and here they come. Gottfried, a coach that has been stressing patience all year, has to have it today as his team takes on number 1, unbeaten and still streaking Notre Dame. The Fighting Irish have won 14 straight here. Lou Holtz has been under fire in the media. He has shouldered the responsibility of what happened a week ago against Southern Cal, and he's hoping that by taking all of the heat, his team can relax and play the game the way they know how. Being number 1 means a lot, and here come the Irish. Saturday. Pitt versus #1 Notre Dame is brought to you by the Hartford, the insurance people of ITT. When you need us most, we're at our best. By Exxon Superflow Motor Oil. Go with the flow. Superflow. And by Fuji, maker of quality film and cameras. Fuji, a new way of seeing things. We'll see the college football season in a brand new light when this blockbuster doubleheader is done. Stay with us. A full 40 degrees higher than a week ago as you look at Mike Gottfried, now in his 4th year at Pitt, 2-1 against Notre Dame. And this historically has been a game that he has been well prepared for and had his team intense. Lou Holtz on the other side. The head coach of Notre Dame in his 12th year as a head football coach. Mike Gottfried knows that he's going against 20 years for Lou Holtz. And Craig Hentrick will kick off for the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Back deep, Jermaine Williams and Junior Green. Danny Crossman has joined them back there. And it's coming down to Crossman at his 2. A seam, and Crossman beyond the 30 to the 32-yard line. Alex Van Pelt will operate at quarterback for the Pitt Panthers today. And watch for a little quickness by this Pittsburgh Panther offense huddling on the sidelines prior to the opening play. This is a wrinkle that Gottfried has put in for this game. Notre Dame picks it up and gets in position. Curvin Richards. This is what Pitt has to do today, Vince. They get a few yards early on, better than 6. Van Pelt will operate at quarterback for the Panthers. Behind him, Curvin Richards and Ronald Redmond. The flanker is Orlando Truitt, and Henry Tootin is best. And they go without a huddle again. They don't want to give Notre Dame's defense a chance to pick up on the changing formations. Richards again. First down, Pittsburgh, beyond the 45-yard line. Now the rest of that offense, Lionel Sykes, a good tight end, can get deep. The center, Dean Caliguire, a converted right guard, but he has played some center. He's flanked by Chris Getz and Bill Chirpak, and the tackles for Pittsburgh, Roman Matus and Scott Miller. Again without a huddle. And motion, and finally, the no-huddle offense went the other way.
Tim, they came out fast, and the idea being they want to establish a running game. We'll see what happened here. Obviously, the tackle got up and moved. You can't shift if you're a guard or a tackle. But 3 different sets, and I think what we're going to see here is an example of a script offense early.
Now, when you say script offense, you mean they're choreographing a number of plays in succession.
They've got about 10 or 15 plays and maybe about 8 or 10 or 12 different sets that they want to see early. They want to run them. They want to see the adjustments that Notre Dame is making to those sets, and they want to cause some confusion in Notre Dame.
They go with the lone setback, Curvin Richards on 1st and 15. Truitt in motion. Richards cutting back and hurdling and up near midfield. He picks up 9 of the 15. Francisco made the stop.
Okay, here's Richards out of the 1-back set. Another. This is a 4th straight set. Nice block in there and good hurdling by Richards. They continue now to confuse Notre Dame a little bit. Notre Dame is not locked in early, and that's exactly what they wanted to do.
2nd down and 5. Seaman in motion, the tight end. And again, the ball faking of Van Pelt, and it's complete to Seaman. The motion back is inside the 25-yard line, but we have a marker back at the line of scrimmage. Ball faking is a lost art in the mind of Mike Gottfried, and Van Pelt does it as well as anyone, Vince.
Mike Gottfried said that he's the best that he's seen. It's almost a throwback to the old T quarterback in the early 50s or the late 40s.
It's a legal formation on the offense.
Well, he wanted to use a lot of formations, and he even made up a few, that time in a legal formation.
Well, that's one of the problems with using a lot of formations. You're going to tend to make mistakes, and we've already seen 2 early in the ball game. But there's no question the sets are confusing Notre Dame right now.
Softee is our referee. He'll be bringing us up to date throughout the course of this day. And there again is Lou Holtz. Vince, I've never seen Lou Holtz as stressed as he was when we met with him yesterday.
He was indeed stressed, but that's part of the life of a coach. And here we are in another set.
Second down and 10. Quick drop, and they flare it out to Swerve and Curvin. Another first down inside the Notre Dame 40 at the 38-yard line. 23 yards before Pat Terrell, the senior free safety, number 15, could make the stop.
This is one of the ways that Pittsburgh is going to get wide, by getting the ball quickly out to Curvin Richards, and he's got some moves. He's hard to tackle with just an arm, and he's got strong upper body strength.
First down and 10. The Panthers moving the ball even with their mental errors with out of these formations. The delay. Adam Walker into the game. Down to the 35-yard line. The Fighting Irish defensively have Zorich, the nose tackle. Watch for him. Flanked by Bob Dahl and Jeff Alm. The defensive ends are Scott Kolakowski and Andre Jones. The linebackers are exploitable. Ned Bolkar, the two-time captain, and Don Grimm. The corners are Todd Light and Rod Smith, starting in place of Smagala, who's injured, and Greg Davis and Pat Terrell are the safeties for the Fighting Irish. Second down and 8 with the ball just outside the Irish 35-yard line, just underway from Notre Dame Stadium. Tim Brando and Vince Dooley with you. They fake the pitch and they swing it out to Sykes, and the tight end is tossed out of bounds by DeJuan Francisco at the 25-yard line of Notre Dame. Another 10-yard gain.
The tight end Sykes, for the first time, is healthy since the West Virginia game. He is their best receiver, 6'4", 250, and he can stretch the defense with his speed.
Vince, we asked Mike if he would compare with Derek Brown, the celebrated sophomore of the Fighting Irish, and Mike did not wince. He said yes.
Absolutely. He's his man, and that's why, first of all, but there's no question Sykes is good, very good.
A junior college transfer. First and 10 pitch. Opening drive. Swing it out to Richards again. Boy, they're really getting by Grimm, aren't they? Grimm was there, and Richards just swerved inside down to the 21-yard line.
Richards is very hard to tackle one-on-one. Bolkar got over, made a nice stick. He's their tough linebacker. He's one of the captains, one of the leaders, but Pitt continues to confuse Notre Dame early.
Bolkar is one of only 10 Irish players in history to be renamed a team captain in successive years. Second down. Richards and Curvin inside the 20 near the 17-yard line. Chris Zorich at 6'1" and 268 is a load out of Chicago.
Timmy, watch Curvin Richards here. He's run the ball about 8 times. He runs sort of high, but he's got very quick feet and spins off here. Has a lot of different moves as a back. Now, I'll tell you that the center is doing a pretty good job on Zorich. We got quite a battle going on at center and the nose guard.
Calaguire and Zorich. We'll watch for that. 64 on 50. 64 in white. 3rd and 1. A nice play fake. Van Pelt with room. Nice move by Van Pelt, out of bounds at the 10-yard line. He had a couple of receivers, Vince, but they were covered, and he tucked it away.
Van Pelt made a very, very good decision on that time. And he got to first down, then got out of bounds instead of trying to throw it up. Good decision by a very young quarterback.
We mentioned at the top of the telecast that Pitt was loose, relaxed, and poised. Mike Gottfried, when we met with him, had that same feeling.
He was as poised and as loose as any coach that I've talked to for a game, but I hadn't talked to many, I might add.
They pitch it to Richards. Following the block of Derek Lewis, he gets 2, if that. And he was nailed inside by that Notre Dame down front. Devon McDonald coming up from the linebacker spot, number 45.
All right, we'll watch the linebacker Bolkar on Richards. Bolkar, this is his kind of ball game. He comes in, and also Kawakowski, number 37, who also can hit.
Ned Bolcar out of Phillipsburg, New Jersey. Gottfried could not have asked for a better opening drive. The 11th play. Reggie Williams is free. Incomplete. Through his hands. Good coverage, but Van Pelt, an accurate passer, saw him in the corner.
Van Pelt put the football the only place you can put the football, and Reggie Williams in the corner should have made the catch. Should have. Here's another replay of it, and you'll see him right here. Just perfect pass. And Reggie Williams has dropped a lot of balls recently. Dropped many in the West Virginia games.
That's one of the reasons Orlando Truitt, the freshman, has been seeing a lot of playing time out of Birmingham. 3rd down. Over the middle, Pittsburgh touchdown! Ronald Redmond.
Here's Van Pelt looking for Redmond. He comes out of the backfield, trails the tight end rather, and gets in the end zone. Redmond is an excellent receiver coming out of the backfield. He's almost a halfback playing a fullback's position, but that makes him such a good pass receiver.
Ed Frazier, the walk-on, puts it through, and the Pittsburgh Panthers on their opening drive get 7. They're ranked 7th. They're looking at number 1. College Football Saturday. Pittsburgh versus Notre Dame is brought to you by Volvo, the car that's famous for its safety, durability, and longevity. And by Gillette and the Gillette Atra Plus shaving system and Gillette Foaming. Together, the best a man can get. Taking advantage of the linebackers, Vince.
Here's Van Pelt looking for Redmond. The tight end delays, and then Redmond, the back, comes under the tight end, makes the catch, and Greg Davis wasn't strong enough to make the tackle.
12 plays, 68 yards, 5:28 off the clock. Van Pelt to Redmond. But again, the script worked out well for Mike Gottfried, taking advantage of the underneath passes and swinging it out to those running backs.
That's definitely one of the places that they're going to work. They're on the linebackers, trying to get the ball in there under the linebackers, in between the linebackers in the secondary.
Van Horn to kick off, and Rocket Ismail back deep for the Fighting Irish, number 25.
We'll see how he's going to kick away from the Rocket.
It's a line drive taken by the up-back, Steve Bellis, down at the 40-yard line. So they do give up the field position to Tony Rice out of Woodruff, South Carolina. The rest of his arsenal, Anthony Johnson and Ricky Waters. The flanker is Rocket Ismail. Pot Hollers is the other. Up front, Derek Brown, the tight end, who's dangerous. The center, Mike Helt, flanked by 2 very quick guards, Tim Ryan and Tim Grunhard. And the tackles, Mike Brennan and Dean Brown. 1st and 10, Notre Dame from their 40, trailing by 7. That's Johnson, the fullback. For about 4 yards, Ricardo McDonald made the stop. The Pittsburgh defense sees Mark Spindler and Tom Sims, the tackles. Keith Hamilton, the freshman, and Carnell Smith. The rest of that down front, McDonald and Bray, the outside backers. Inside, Nelson Walker. Now the rest of that perimeter, Alonzo Hampton, who can play man coverage, and Robert Bradley, and Crossman and Riddick are the safeties. And now Notre Dame with its second play and second formation. The Bone, 2nd and 6. Ismail, you have to know where he lines up, and he's near a 1st down at midfield. Ricardo McDonald again, number 48, the right linebacker, and twin brother of Devon McDonald of Notre Dame, making the stop for Pitt.
Mike Gottfried did not want to kick away from the Rocket and give him the ball at the 40-yard line. He might as well kick to him because he can get it back that far.
In fact, he told us, Vince, he didn't want to squib it for that reason. It was a line driver that Bellis just stopped. 3rd down and short yardage. Rice keeps it and has the 1st down just over the 50. Top 25 scores today on this October Saturday. Colorado is obviously for real. Their first one in Norman in a while. Nebraska headed for that matchup against Colorado over Jim Carlin's team. Michigan beats Indiana today, stopping Thompson. Alabama leading Penn State in the fourth. You'll see Penn State next week against West Virginia here on ESPN. Vince Dooley and I will be in Happy Valley for that one. Rice for Brown. Incomplete, but there's that speed of Derek Brown we talked about. Number 5, Lewis Riddick, the free safety, and Crossman, the strong safety, were both there. But Brown, so tall and so quick.
Here is Spindler, number 93, who is an excellent player. But look at the fine job being done by Dean Brown, number 71.
Yeah, that's a takedown. Mark Spindler out of Scranton, Pennsylvania, is easily the most tenacious Pitt defender.
By far.
2nd and 10, 7:46 remaining.
Crowding the ball, Timmy.
Rice keeping it and out of bounds at the 45-yard line. Robert Bradley knocking him out of bounds. Well, you mentioned them crowding the ball. You know, it's interesting. Mike Godfrey told us, and you very rarely hear this, Vince, that his defense is the equivalent of Georgetown basketball defense. They like to penetrate and pressure.
That's attacking type defense. That means lined up, and that's what exactly Pitt has got to do. Line up and attack and pinch and throw Notre Dame off its offensive rhythm.
The delay to Ricky Waters, and a nice play by Tom Sims, the right tackle out of Detroit, Michigan. That saved a first down.
Excellent play here by Sims, who spins off, gets his blocker, and spins off. He's been around a good while. That's why Notre Dame, or rather Pitt, is able to play 3 or 4 different linemen.
Jim Sexton will punt the ball away for the Fighting Irish. And dropping back deep, Alonzo Hampton for Pitt, back at his 10-yard line. Fair catch called for at the 6-yard line, and that's where the Panthers take over. 1st and 10 from Notre Dame Stadium. Furman, Tom Jackson, Pete Axtell, tune them in, won't you, tomorrow on ESPN. Pittsburgh leading Notre Dame by 7. This is their 2nd drive of the game, and they begin on their patio. And again, motion and problems in the Pittsburgh backfield. This is the 3rd problem the Panthers have had, although they did score on their opening drive.
I think that's what's impressive about the opening drive. Illegal motion. What's impressive is they overcame 2 penalties and continued down to score.
Mike Gottfried said his team had to run the ball effectively. Richards had to have a big day. And number 27 in white had a very good first drive.
They had 29 or 30 yards rushing the football on 5 rushes, but they also mixed it well with a pass. Great balance, which is what they've got to have against this Notre Dame defense.
You saw it just moments ago. Miami and Florida State to follow on this college football Saturday. 1st and 13. Fake, Van Pelt, intended for Sykes. Good double coverage there. Let's go down to the sidelines now and to Dr. Jerry Punch. Jerry?
Well, Tim, just following the Pittsburgh scoring drive a minute ago, Chris Zorich, who anchors the defensive line, the nose tackle, the junior, limped off the field. And the Notre Dame trainers behind me put him to the bench, took a look at his right knee. What they did was put a brace on his right knee, taped up his right knee, concerned possibly about a mild sprain. Of course, Zorich is back in the game. We'll keep an eye and see how he's going to perform here as that knee begins to swell.
Beneath some pretty huge thighs and arms, I might add. Tough kid from the south side of Chicago. 2nd and 13. There it is, a little quick handoff around the backside to Redmond, but it's stopped by the Notre Dame defense. Vince, that's a play that Bill Walsh used well with Joe Montana in the San Francisco 49er offense.
They did. Let's take a look at what we talked about earlier, what's going up front. And this is Zorit, number 50, and Galaquire, number 64. And that's going to be a matchup we're going to see all day. Two big, fine football players battling each other. And that was sort of a Mexican standoff.
3rd and 12. A big possession snap for Pittsburgh this deep in their territory. Van Pelt is down. Safety.
It's obvious that Van Pelt must have tripped over the center. We'll try to take a look and see what happened here. Oh, it looks like he just slipped on the grass. And it could be one of the questions. This is the first time that they've ever played on grass this year. All of their games have been on AstroTurf so far. That might have been an example of getting used to a different turf.
Kolakowski covered him, but again, once that knee hit, it was all over. It was a free deuce, and the Fighting Irish get a gimme. And it's now a 7-2 football game. But Van Pelt will keep his composure, Vince. This is a youngster that threw 4 pass interceptions in the first half against West Virginia, yet brought them back from 31-9 behind with 9:22 remaining to a tie.
Now, that was a nice compliment to his coach, Mike Gottfried, who said, look, I'm not going to take you out. You're my quarterback. When I played at quarterback at Morehead State, I threw 7 interceptions, and my coach says you're going to stay in there. And let's take another look here and see if Van Pelt just slipped. It looked like he just slipped on the grass. I don't think he tripped on any lineman, which is normally the case when a quarterback falls down.
In fact, when you consider where that ball is, Vince, he's fortunate to have gotten on top of it and covered it as quickly as he did.
Well, it fell right out in front of him. It could have rolled somewhere else. You're right.
They will punt this ball away.
The rocket is deep. They could punt to the left away from him.
Ismail awaiting Greenfield's punt from the 20.
Right to him.
The scene closed in a hurry. Down at the 40-yard line. And let's quickly get back downstairs to Dr. Jerry Punch.
Timmy, just minutes ago, after Pittsburgh score, defensive coordinator Barry Alvarez challenged his players that we have to control the line of scrimmage. He called on Chris Zorich, who was on the bench being taped at the time, said, you will have to take charge. We must control it. We must rise. We are Notre Dame. And apparently the players heard what he said, and they stopped him here early, deep in their territory.
They've been winning on tradition, Jerry. Thank you. The past few weeks, they've been outdistanced statistically. Culver carrying for the first time, wrapped up in the big arms of number 93, Mark Spindler. College football Saturday scores. Bob Carpenter, Bino Cook, and Lee Corso will keep you posted at halftime. The Illini beating Wisconsin today. Big day for Jeff George. Tennessee over LSU. Mike Archer 1-6, losing another close one. West Virginia beating Boston College. And Auburn over Mississippi State. But Rocky Felker's club only surrendered 2 touchdowns. Near mix-up in the backfield, a pitch to Waters. Up to midfield, and a Notre Dame first down. Robert Bradley, number 16, the 5'10", 185-pound senior from Elizabeth, New Jersey, made the stop for the Panthers.
Tim, that's one of about 7 options, different options that Notre Dame has. They have them all. They have them out of the wishbone. They have the track option. They have the veer option. And they continue and will continue to run the option on the corner against Pittsburgh.
5-12 and counting. We're in the first quarter from Notre Dame, Indiana. Tim Brando, Vince Dooley, the Fighting Irish trailing Pitt 7-2. The Rocket not off the launching pad that time. Stop after a couple of yards. Coming up from the linebacker spot, number 58, Curtis Gray, along with Tony Saragusa, number 98, the senior out of Kenilworth, New Jersey. There's Gray, an impact player on the Pitt defense.
They got 4 or 5 truly strong linemen up front. Saragusa, you mentioned number 98. We've already talked about Spindler, Smith, Carmel Smith, and Hamilton.
Yeah, their defensive front is the best that Notre Dame has faced thus far this year. Lou Holtz will tell you that. They come back the other way with Griggs from the flanker spot down at the 45-yard line. Bray was not fooled, Curtis Bray. Griggs, number 14, will be involved in this game a bit more, Vince Dooley, out of University Park, Illinois.
Here's the reverse off of it to Griggs. And Bray in the perfect position, contained, cut it back in, and made the tackle. He's an excellent athlete.
Rice on 3rd down. Lofting it for Brown. A great play by Louis Riddick. The converted fullback was all over Derek Brown. A well-timed defensive play by the free safety.
This is Notre Dame's type of passes. They've got to run little delays to the halfback, to the tight end. This is to Derek Brown, but watch Riddick coming in and getting his arm in there and slapping it down and riding Brown down. Riddick is a big safety man, 6'3", 220, and he can defend against a 6'7" Brown.
Sexton to punt it away. They'll hope for the best for Pittsburgh and let it go into the end zone, and it does. A marker down after the 45-yard punt. I think Pittsburgh may have been blocking upfield after the fair catch had been called, and of course that cannot happen. That's the preliminary indication that we got as they confer down there.
Okay, Timmy, it looks like Alonzo Hampton calls for the fair catch down at the bottom to the left of your screen, and look at him. Hits number 75 Grunhard, and you cannot do that.
And blocked, which is illegal.
7-2 our score with 3:34 remaining. Pittsburgh will have it. Don't hold your breath, because Pittsburgh goes without the huddle from the sidelines as they open this series again. It's 7-2, Pitt with the lead. That's Redmond, who scored the touchdown, piercing up to the 9-yard line. Well, Pittsburgh's been in this position before, Vince. In their history, they played Notre Dame when the Irish were number 1.
And they haven't done very well, and neither has many people done very well when they're number 1.
There is a mystique, and Notre Dame has been playing to that mystique under Lou Holtz. Of course, all of those victories coming prior to the Holtz era. Boy, Pitt wants to establish that running game. This is primarily a ball control passing team, but Redmond goes right up the middle again, running into Zorich. We mentioned a tough kid from the south side of Chicago, Chris Zorich. He went to the same high school as Dick Butkus and Keena Turner, and number 50 runs a 4.640 for Notre Dame. There he is. Third down 2 for Pittsburgh.
Play.
Busted play. Van Pelt in trouble. Andre Jones for Notre Dame.
Here's Zorich with a tremendous amount of quickness with his strength, goes right on by the center and disrupts everything in the backfield, causes all sorts of confusion. And then finally Andre Jones and everybody else makes the play. That's just
Greenfield to punt it away. That's a 4.640 with Fleury.
That is as fine a play as I have ever seen.
Greenfield, the left-footed punter, sends it to Ismail at his own 47. Boy, he had room down the sidelines, but he was finally tripped up by Ricky Turner, number 35, who may have saved a big return.
Let's look at Zorich one more time with this quickness coming through the line of scrimmage, penetrating, caused disruption in the backfield, and look at the pursuit and flow of Notre Dame, number 7, Andre Jones, and number 45, McDonald.
This is an opportunistic Notre Dame team. Since the safety, they've had control of field position. Ismail. Down at the 20-yard line. Riddick and Crossman made the stop.
This is out of the wishbone, and they're trying to get the ball, and they will many times to Ismail. They have to today. Excellent pull and block. And this guy right here is one heck of a running back. Probably the smallest player out there on the football team, but he attacks. He gets under his shoulders.
1st and 10, and they operate out of the bone again. Johnson, the first back through, down at the 15. Getting back to the Rocket, Vince, you saw him take on that tackler on that previous run. He's not only fast, but he's tough.
He is extremely fast. In fact, he's the fastest one out here, 4.2840, and I've never heard of any kind of speed like that with a football player. But this guy not only is fast, but he is tough, he's strong, he's competitive, he'll block, he'll do it all.
Ricky Waters is coming to the game for him, and they stay in the wishbone. Johnson on 2nd and 5, near another first down.
Anthony Johnson, the fullback, probably the most underrated football player on the Notre Dame team. Really a valuable football player. Can do a lot of things. He can run. He'll block. We're going to see him several times during the course of this day making some key blocks.
Notre Dame's behind after 1 quarter, but they've got a feeling, and so do their fans. We'll be back. The uprights beneath the Golden Dome and a jam-packed crowd, over 59,000 at Notre Dame Stadium as we open the 2nd quarter. The Irish with a 3rd and 1 out of the wishbone. Johnson keeps it as the first down. And the Irish going exclusively with the wishbone this drive.
Timmy, when it's 3rd and 1 and they're going to have it, they're going to give the ball to Johnson behind the power blockers, Grunnett, number 75, and Dean Brown, number 71. And that's a good plan.
First down and goal now for the Fighting Irish. After the punt return by Ismail, set them up at the Pitt 40. Ismail stopped for no gain. Mark Spindler made the stop for Pittsburgh. North Carolina State in a much-needed victory today against South Carolina, coming off that loss to Clemson. Texas A&M leading Rice. And the Clemson Tigers keep it rolling in the ACC against Coach Dooley's brother. And Georgia, a winner over Kentucky today. Boy, Hampton's having a great year, Coach.
Wonderful.
2nd down and goal for Notre Dame. Johnson spinning, turning, near the end zone. Boy, there's the versatility you talked about, Vince. Alonzo Hampton finally dragging him down with Parnell Smith.
Well, he's limping coming out of the ball game, but I'll tell you what, this is why he's so valuable. He got lost up in there. Pitt didn't see him. He spun off, got fine balance, keeps the legs driving, a very determined runner, and goes to the goal line.
But it is 3rd down.
Here's another. Look at the spin right here. Lit, continues to drive, great feet work, and goes to the 1-foot line.
Culver's in the game now. He's the up back on 3rd and goal. He's got it. Touchdown, Notre Dame. Sidney Culver, the sophomore from Detroit, gives Notre Dame the lead, and they went exclusively with the wishbone on a 40-play drive. And now they'll go for two to get that 3-point lead, leading by a score of 8-7 now out of the I formation.
Option.
Rice. And it's 10-7 Notre Dame.
They got to have something. They're going to run the option. Here's Rice reading, and it's a read there. He comes right off and then cuts right back in from Crossman and scores easily.
Not dynamic, but very effective, Tony Rice, for that man's team. And the spirit of Notre Dame has filled Notre Dame Stadium here in the second quarter with Vince Dooley. I'm Tim Brando. The Fighting Irish with a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, now leading 10-7. Hendrick to kick it away. Crossman and Williams are deep, and it's Crossman. He better get on top of it, and he does. The ball took a Notre Dame bounce, and he had to get on top of it.
Here's the touchdown. Handing off to Culver, number 5, and it's about a half-a-yard play. Good block. He goes in for the touchdown. And then, now, when you're ahead by 1, the chart says go for 2. And in this case, he gets a good block from 86 Derek Brown. And then Rice, number 9, keeps on the option for the touchdown, for the 2-point play.
3:01 off the clock, 36 yards. They went exclusively with the wishbone, and Culver got the touchdown. Pitt trailing for the first time. Richards, and it's Zorich right there on top of him.
Well, they're putting Zorich more on Chairpack, number 73, than Calaguire. And it makes it easier. Let's see if we can see Zorich. Right. No. There he is right there. He runs around, and Chairpack, number 73, can't handle Zorich.
Van Pelt play faking and finding Sykes. Out of bounds at the 27. They rule he was juggling it, and it's an incompleted forward pass.
Well, it appears when things go wrong, they go wrong. Here's the pass to Sykes. Does a good job, and Sykes seems to have the football right here. Does he have it? Does he have it? He looks like he has it.
Not only that, he was hit going out of bounds. If that were the case, you'd think Pitt would have the completion.
There must have been an official right down on top of it, because it looked from that angle that he had the football.
Certainly did. Setbacks are split now behind Van Pelt. 3rd down and 12. Swings it out to Richards, and he's nailed. Greg Davis, number 26, the strong safety. There you see the field position. That really tells the story in this football game. Pittsburgh, since that safety, has been in deep trouble.
Well, what led to that was not kicking the ball deep on the kickoff, and Notre Dame got it at the 40, then punted down and got themselves in position. So that changed the field position early in the kicking game.
Greenfield to punt it away. And again, Notre Dame should have an outstanding shot. Beautiful punt. Ismail going to his sidelines with a fair catch. Fans want a flag, and they get one. Barry Threets, number 45. I don't think he saw the fair catch signal.
No, I think he saw it, but I don't think he really tackled him. I just think he put his hands on him and drove with him out of bounds.
That's what Mike Gottfried is saying right now.
I really believe that, and there's no question that the fans drew the attention of the official.
Dead ball foul. Personal foul. Late hit after the fair catch on the defense.
it may be, but I'm not sure. Let's take a look at it. Here he calls for the fast catch signal. He sees it, and he just walks with him. And he eases up on him. He doesn't really push him. But they're very, very strict now about anything out of bounds. But I don't think there's any question the crowd gave the attention to look at that.
Ismail made it look good, too, going into the benches.
I think so.
Comeback. Notre Dame quickly lining up and running that first play. So it's a 2nd down and 11 coming up. Beautiful day here. Boy, you very rarely see hot air ballooning this time of year in Notre Dame.
72 degrees. Magnificent day. Ismail is going to get the ball 14 to 16 times, Coach Holtz told me yesterday.
2nd down and 11. Rice has Ismail deep past Hampton. This is a Pitt defense that has surrendered the big play, and Hampton's been burned a few times, and Holtz knows how to attack the opposition's perimeter.
Well, Alonzo Hampton certainly has NFL potential, and he can run, but he cannot stay up with Ismail. And we'll see it right now. He has him beat. The ball is there, well thrown, and he just drops it. There it is. It would have been a sensational catch, but he could have caught it.
3rd down 11. Sprint out action. And Eiler's the intended receiver, incomplete. Good pressure that time, though, from the Pitt defense. Keith Hamilton, number 92, all over Rice as he released that ball.
There was good pressure on Rice at the top of your screen. Number 91, Carnell Smith, and it looks like that he may be hurt. Keith Hamilton, also number 92, is just a freshman, 6'7", 275, applied great pressure.
Hendrick off the side of his foot, yet it will be an effective punt. And again, Pittsburgh will start inside their only 20-yard line after the 30-yard punt. Coming up next, Ron Franklin and Kevin Kiley standing by for number 2 Miami and number 9 Florida State. The Seminoles may be the hottest team in college football after those first 2 defeats. The Hurricanes can't wait to find out about this game before they go out and play in Tallahassee. 10-7 our score here, and the Panthers on the sidelines getting that first play. And they start each series with a huddle on the sidelines. There's Hamilton and the rest of that defensive crew that did the job.
Let's take a look at the Rice hit right here from the backside and the front. Keith Hamilton hit him, and Carnell Smith hit him low. That's a pretty good crunch when you get those two. 275 and 260. Both are 6'7".
That's Bob Valicente, the defensive coordinator, who was the head coach at Kansas. Let's quickly get to another Bob Carpenter, in our College Football Saturday studios. Bob.
All right, Timmy, and in the closing seconds at Penn State, 13 seconds left. Nittany Lions, Ray Tarasi for the game-winning field goal. No, it's blocked by Keith McCants, and Bama holds on to win 17-16.
Well, it looks like the tide is for real for Coach Bill Curry. You'll see Penn State next week when West Virginia invades Happy Valley. Richards up to about the 18-yard line against that Fighting Irish defense. Todd Light coming up from the corner along with Don Grimm, the junior out of Scottdale, Pennsylvania.
Notre Dame, more than anything else, they want to take the runaway. They want to force you to pass. And they were a little hesitant early as Pitt moved the ball on them. But now we're beginning to see the tide changing just a little bit, and they're not getting the running room they had early. Of course, they're in bad field position.
2nd and 9. Richards off the pitch. Good block on the right side by Bill Cherpak. And that opened the door for a nice run for Kirby. Grimm made the stop for Notre Dame. There you see the numbers on Richards so far this year. Just a sophomore.
Irvin Richards is a class back that can play in anybody's offense. He can run, got good moves, he's got speed, he can get low, he's got some power in his legs.
3rd and 2. Movement. That may be the 5th time we've seen movement in that offensive front. Number 60, Scott Miller, the sophomore right tackle, appeared to be guilty that time.
Scott Miller, number 60, is just a sophomore.
False start on the offense.
Now, this is about 5 or 6 penalties they've had already, and they're back poor field position. And here's Miller, number 60, the only sophomore. All of them are seniors. You can't move at all, of course, once you set in your position if you're an offensive lineman.
And remember, that's the side, the right side, that they've made some changes, Vince. Caliguire was a guard. As you see the penalty yardage mounting against Pittsburgh. The left side of Pittsburgh's front has been stable. The Caliguire has moved to center, away from right guard. They've been needing to bolster the right side of their offensive front. 3rd and 7. Van Pelt out to Sykes. Stood up and down. Volcar polished off. Greg Davis the first to get there. But where will they mark it? We have a marker down.
That was just an excellent tackle by Greg Davis, who has filled in as the number 2 strong safety. Just an excellent tackle. Now, Sykes should have put his shoulder down and gone for the flag. Van Pelt makes a nice tackle. There's good pressure from the corner. And here's the pass to Sykes. Now, he needs to look at that tackle. He spins out, but then he gets tremendous help in pursuit, and that's a great example of the pursuit of Notre Dame.
4th and 1, and Pitt will have to surrender it again. Ismail standing at his 30.
They keep doing this, and he's going to break one.
They angle it for the corner. Nice idea. Out of bounds. They'll rule it Notre Dame's ball at their 44. 61. A job well done in the classroom and out. Mike Gottfried on the sidelines just held a team meeting through that timeout.
Patience, patience, patience is what he's saying.
And again, great field position for Rice. They operate out of the eye. Rodney Culver gets it. Up to the 47-yard line. Spindler again involved in the stop. Notre Dame just year after year, and even in the year after, which is tough to do, Lou Holtz is doing what's very difficult to do, and the history will show you that, Vince.
Only 47 did Notre Dame repeat undefeated after being number 1. It is tough to repeat, I can assure you.
That was Frank Leahy's team, and an outstanding one it was that repeated. 2nd and 6. The option pitch to Waters. They want that kind of toughness from Ricky, and he gets them a first down inside the Pitt 45. 12 yards for Waters.
Well, this is another option. We call it a track option with the fullback, number 5, Culver, coming out, and we're going to see if he's going to be able to replace Johnson. That's going to be a big key. And he, not very vicious, but he screened Alonzo Hampton, number 3, which in itself was an effective block. Not a great block, but an effective block.
There you see the numbers on Waters. He has outstanding speed. First down, Culver stopped at the line of scrimmage by the initial surge of Richard Allen. Let's get down to Dr. Jerry Punch.
Well, Timmy, a minute ago, Mike Gottfried held a team meeting on the far sideline. What he told his players was this: basically, fellas, relax. You got to maintain your composure. He's concerned about the procedure and the penalties. They've been getting the silly penalties. And we can win this game, fellas. Relax. Let's have a good time, and let's play solid, hard-nosed football. Kim?
All right, Jerry. Vince was thinking right along with him.
That's exactly why I think he's going to be. He is an excellent football coach. He's going to get better and better.
On 2nd and 8, Rice doing what he does so well. He stepped out of bounds. He stepped out of bounds up at the 24-yard line. Louis Riddick knocked him out inside the 15, but he stepped out prior to that time after a 19-yard gain.
Now this is another kind of option called the belly option, where you pull the guard. And there goes Grunnard making a good block. Also number 5, Culver, makes a block. And when you give this fella 2 blocks, look out, because he's going to make a couple of them miss him.
You saw where he stepped out, but Tony Rice, and we mentioned not dynamic. He may not be as explosive as Major Harris, but he's smooth and consistent in running this offense.
Well, he's explosive to a 4.5 40, and that's pretty explosive.
That's right.
On wow, what a tackle there.
Ismail stopped by Tom Sims again, the senior right side tackle. Big day in college football. Out of the Pac-10, UCLA with a 3-point lead. They've only lost 3 in a row 10 years ago. Cal with Troy Taylor leading by 8, and the Oregon Ducks and Bill Musgrave doing well against Cal State Long Beach. New Mexico has played well this year, giving Wyoming a tussle today in Albuquerque. Second down and 11. 7:29 remaining first half. Movement this time by Notre Dame's Derek Brown, number 86, up at the top of your screen. And that's the first procedure that we've seen from the Fighting Irish today.
That's their first penalty, I believe, Tim. I mentioned Tony Rice running a 4.5 40. What's interesting is that that's the 14th ranked speed on the Notre Dame team. There are 13 other players faster than Tony Rice, if you can believe that.
Did you have that many at Georgia?
When I had one or 2 4.5s, I was just beside myself.
Now you're finding out how great a coach you were.
Well, you're kind.
2nd and 16. Rice with 3 receivers out. Now we'll go to work, and Derek Brown's wide open. He overthrows him, and a marker down. Dean Brown could be flagged for holding here.
Well, there's 2 flags down. There are flags everywhere. There could be people. Normally, when you have a broken pattern like that, you're going to have somebody down the field, illegal receivers.
Well, we're doing a flag count. I see 3 now, Vince. 1 in the backfield, 1 at the 10-yard line. That's 1. And then there's another at the 33-yard line in an area where, again, holding or a legal receiver downfield could be called.
We'll find out right now.
All against Notre Dame.
All against.
The first foul is ineligible downfield. The second foul is clipping on Notre Dame. The third foul is offensive pass interference, blocking downfield. It's a loss of down penalty.
Wow, Lou just got 3 strikes and out.
Well, they haven't had any penalties up until now, but they are certainly catching up in a hurry.
You noticed he was smiling over there, telling his guys to calm down.
Well, let's see if we can see the blocking downfield. Well, we got number 12, Waters, blocking downfield. He thought it was a run. Obviously, that's a penalty. You can't do that. Let's see if we can find the clip. Here's 71, Dean Brown, making the clip. That's another one. And then the third one would be having some ineligible receivers downfield.
That's 2 out of 3. Nice work by the guys in the truck.
They did a good job down there.
3rd down and 31 for the Fighting Irish.
Well,
trying to put some helium in this offense.
They're going to probably run a draw. I don't think they're going to try to throw it deep here. Let's see.
No, they will.
Yeah. Here come. Well, they are. Here they are. Look at here. Look at here.
Ismail near the first down. Doug Hetzler made the stop. Tony Rice with his first completion of the day.
That's the thing about Tony Rice. He can look really bad as a passer until really something good has to happen, something big. And here he is throwing to Ismail. What a nice catch, going way up in the air. This guy Rice, only in the clutch is he a good passer. They had to have it 3rd and long, and he put it right on the button. Nice catch. Now they can kick a field goal.
Sexton will hold. Hendrick will try on 4th down and a couple of yards. They were a couple of yards shy, and it's no good. Off to the right. So the Irish come up empty. But Tony Rice again gets the most mileage out of the passing game when he goes to Ismail.
Well, here's the kick. Let's see what he did. He just sliced it. Went off to the left of our screen.
Yeah, he thought he had it.
From his angle. Well, a lot of those kickers have so much confidence they almost think they do, regardless.
We'll be back. It's Pitt, 10-7. 6:15 remaining until halftime. I'm Tim Brando along with Vince Dooley. The Panthers once again start inside their 20. Richards the lone setback. Williams in motion. The reverse. Tootin could throw it, but he'll keep it and go out of bounds after a loss. A 5-yard loss, and the Irish were ready. Well, we were talking during the timeout that Pitt had not been able to open up their offense, and they tried to here.
Well, they need to get the ball to Tootin, and that's exactly what they did here. But he had to go entirely too deep because Dahl forced him, and then the rest of the Notre Dame pursuit that can run so good finally caught him. There's a nice block on Dahl by Calaguire, the excellent son of number 64. There he is. He is a man, real man.
Senior from Pittsburgh. 2nd and 15. Little flare out to Redmond. Stopped near the original line of scrimmage again. The Irish are all over him. Alm the first to get there along with Greg Davis. But we talked about the problems that Mike Gottfried's offense has had since that opening drive. And they've many penalties, but not being able to open up their offense has something to do with field position, doesn't it, Coach?
The main problem is that every time they've gotten the ball, it's been inside the 20. This might be the best field position they've had since the opening kickoff. Now, I want to tell you another thing that I like is the way Notre Dame tackles in the secondary. That last play was an excellent example of it, and we're going to see some more. They really tackle well.
3rd down. Was there, and the marker is down.
He definitely held him. His hand went out and grabbed him.
Baron Jackson, number 19, was held by Rod Smith, number 21, the left corner, pressed into starting duty for Stan Smagala today. Here comes the call.
Holding. Defense.
There's no question that Jackson turned him, and when he turned him, Rod Smith, number 21, stuck his arm out and got a piece of him.
Well, Rod Smith is playing for Smagala. You think about it, to augment the job done by Lou Holtz this year, just think about this. He lost Michael Stonebreaker. He lost George Williams, one of his best pass rushers. He lost Arnold Ali, who has transferred to UCLA. A tremendous job when you consider those losses, and now losing Smagala today.
Smagala. Now they got to play little Rod Smith, who only runs a 4.3 240 in the secondary, and of course, but he's learning. He's just a young sophomore, and he'll be all right.
1st and 10. Van Pelt swings it out to Redmond. Boy, look at the speed from Bob Dahl. At 263, he can really run down the running backs. And he got help from Pat Terrell. Now, we talked about field position, and remember, the safety may have been the turning point, because since that time, they've only picked up,
look at this,
9 yards in one possession, but look where they started.
My goodness, the first start, of course, they go for a touchdown. Then from the 6, from the 4 times inside the 20, and it's hard to open up your offense with that kind of field position.
Clipping on the offense, 15-yard penalty. Will still be 1st down.
Boy, he's seen too many of those.
Let's see if we can find the clipping here. Here's the pass out to Richard. It must right here. We see it. And he clipped him, there's no question about it, from the back. Can't tell who it was.
But a good job done by Dahl running him down at 6'5", 263. 1st and 25. Under 5 minutes to play, opening half.
They need to run a draw.
And they do. Redmond bouncing off one tackler. And again, Dahl from the backside grabs him at the 20-yard line.
Well, Notre Dame has got quite a front when you consider Dahl, number 93, and Zurich, number 50, and then Arms. He's the 6'7" guy, number 90, 270.
What they do so well, they may not get the sack, but if they don't get the sack, they'll bat it down with those big paws.
Arms is a master at that with his height and his jumping ability. Former outside linebacker. We'll probably see him during the course of the ball game.
10 tackles against SC last week. 2nd and 20, and a draw again, and Redmond up to the 27-yard line. Bob Carpenter standing by to bring you information on these games. Texas A&M, R.C. Slocum getting it done with Darren Lewis. TCU losing to Baylor. Grant Taft with a victory. SMU over North Texas. The Mean Green, a Division I AA power. Colorado State over Utah. Earl Bruce's team. By the way, Colorado State has an assistant coach on that Earl Bruce staff. Its name is Holtz. Young son of Lou Holtz works for Earl Bruce.
We're talking about Skip Holtz. And no Skip well. He's going to be an excellent football coach. Had a chance to be with him and his family over in Japan at the Japan Bowl this past summer.
3rd and 13. Van Pelt.
Well, look out, look out.
Pat Terrell. Touchdown, Notre Dame.
Decision by Van Pelt. There's no question about that. He threw the ball right into coverage.
Todd Marinovich got a lot of credit in the media for a job well done by USC last week. But remember, an opportunistic defense that yields yardage but makes big plays, i.e. the interception.
And the Pitt coaches feared Terrell. They really like Terrell, the safety man, and we can see why. Van Pelt on the phone, and he's being talked to because he made a poor decision right there. He had a man underneath open, the number 80, Truitt, but he just threw the ball right into coverage. Just a very poor decision, and maybe the freshman in him is coming out a little bit against this kind of an atmosphere in this kind of a football team.
The 5th interception of the year for Pat Terrell, and he's turned it into a touchdown. And the Irish, who seized control with 2 points, now lead by 10.
Pat Terrell, he's a converted wide receiver, very physical player, and can run. He's got 4.36 speed, Timmy, and he showed it there.
On the phone with Paul Hackett now is Van Pelt. And you see Tootin talking with him there. They'll stay composed. This is a youngster that can't get enough information. He'll learn from this, but being down by 10 against Notre Dame is very difficult for anyone, let alone a freshman.
Well, he had the same situation a few weeks ago against West Virginia when he threw all the interceptions early, but did come back in the second half in a tremendous comeback in which they tied almost at the buzzer, West Virginia 31-31.
Crossman now at his 4-yard line, down to the knee, and the field position woes will continue.
When indeed it goes bad, and anything can happen, will happen, and did and has for Pittsburgh since the opening kickoff. Right here. And maybe again the AstroTurf change going to grass. You don't have that traction here on grass that you have on AstroTurf.
Oh, and a penalty against Notre Dame, it appears. We just had a signal from John Sophie that there was a penalty against the Irish. Boy, that's a late flag, and it certainly will help Pitt. And Holtz is giving an earful now to one of his players.
He doesn't like that, and I don't blame him.
Notre Dame.
Eric Simeon, number 85, a reserve defensive end. And boy, is he hearing it from Holtz.
Now, I don't blame Coach Holtz because I never liked it. We'll see what Simeon did. They see it right here. Here comes the official. And Simeon has somebody out of bounds.
This is the last thing Notre Dame needs in the wake of the adverse publicity that they've received this week.
That was bad, really bad.
That's Redmond beyond the 25 to the 27. Now we have under 3 minutes remaining, and the Pitt offense now gets a break. Rather than starting from their 6, they're out beyond the 20 for the first time since that opening drive. What do they have to do?
That indeed was a poor decision. I can't get over it by the Notre Dame player, but it did get Pitt out of the hole. And what they need to do is, first of all, don't throw another interception. Number one. Keep the football, move it steady, and then if they get it up around midfield, then try to take it on in. But don't sling it down there.
Van Pelt dumps it, and it's knocked down. Big number 90, Jeff Alm. All 6'7", 270 pounds of him. That big paw we talked about broke that play up.
He gets them about 3 or 4 ball game. Let's take a look at number 90. And there he is, jumping up, arms right here. And he can jump for a guy that's 6'7". He's a former outside linebacker. Great jumping ability. Look at that. For a big guy, he's 270. He can jump. Intercepted 3 passes doing that.
Taking advantage of that little dump pattern, Van Pelt did have a low trajectory. 3rd down. There it is again. Take it if it's there, and it is. Redmond up to the 39-yard line. Greg Davis made the tackle for Notre Dame. 2:13 left in the first half.
Okay.
Eric Simeon made the penalty that gave Pitt this opportunity. And since then, the Panthers have picked up a 1st down with time to get back in it before the end of the first half. Swerving, curving, and he's down at the 40-yard line. Kowalkowski was there.
There's Coach Holtz talking to Eric Simeon, and he is mad. And I've been there 4 or 5 many times over my career, because nothing makes you. Then you got to love him a little bit, and that's what he's doing. You really get on him. You let him know how you feel about it, and then you got to love him and say, "Come on."
A great leader of men. He tutored under Woody Hayes, Lou Holtz. Off tomorrow, plenty of football today, and this blockbuster College Football Association doubleheader is underway. Notre Dame leading Pitt 17-7. Lou Holtz facing the music off the field with the best medicine, getting this game underway today. 2nd and 7 for Pitt. Van Pelt swings it out to Redmond. Again using the back as a receiver, and he's out of bounds at the 47-yard line. Let's get down to the sidelines and Dr. Jerry Punch.
What you're looking at is natural turf, natural grass, and Pittsburgh has not seen that this year. Out on the first 6 games, they have played all 6 on artificial turf. They are slipping and sliding. In fact, Dan Crossman, trying to catch the kickoff, slipped down. They're trying to get their footing right here on natural grass. It is more cushiony, it will give, and they are wearing different shoes. Tough day for the Pittsburgh team trying to get accustomed to the grass.
Thank you, Jerry. And that tape can sometimes cause some problems. Vince, you mentioned it, and Crossman obviously the last to taste it, slipping on that grass.
It's hard to adjust from turf to grass, much more so than the other way.
That's Adam Walker, stopped behind the line of scrimmage by Andre Jones, who made a big 11-yard sack earlier in the game. Jones is known for his dropping ability in pass coverage. That time he pierced through and made the stop on the running play.
It was a classic type defensive play, how to keep blockers away from your body.
2nd and 10. Quick out, going to the tight end, Eric Seaman. Greg Davis, again, the strong safety out of Hollywood, Florida, over there to make the stop.
3rd and 6.
3rd down and 6 coming up with 1:08 remaining, and Mike Gottfried in need of a spark before halftime. Even 3 here, Vince, would give his club some momentum.
They got to have a possession reception right now to get the 1st down. And they've been coming back over across the middle with something, either to lay in the fullback Redmond, who is just an excellent receiver. And we might see him coming out of the backfield.
The Railback halftime report. Bob and his buddies standing by. Van Pelt swings it out again to that tight end dragging. Vince, you called it. Sykes knocked out of bounds, maybe shy of the first down.
Well, once again, Sykes just made a very poor decision about trying to get the first down. He jumped up in the air. He needs to get under his shoulders and go for the first down. He needs to be more aware of where the down marker is.
Mike wanted a timeout. Now he's asking them not to take the timeout. And they will. Official timeout is the call. They're going to measure here. And he wants to get the freshman over and get the freebie. Mike Gottfried is a coach. Mike Gottfried is a coach that coaches up to a team. He's a positive mind and motivator. And we've got a player down along that Notre Dame sidelines that they're tending to. That's the reason for the official timeout. But again, positive thinking and mental attitude and putting positive emphasis on a team in preparation.
Yeah, in fact, we talked about his 10 points of emphasis for this ball game, and he is a confidence, coaching up type individual, an organizational motivation type coach, and that's why he listed the 10 points of emphasis in this ball game, and we'll talk about them as we go along. One is possession and keeping the football.
Pretty good record on the road when you're an Eastern team playing Eastern Powers, and Eastern football is much better. It's 4th down and 1, a long one. Curvin digging rather than swerving, and it will be close.
It may be close, but he made not only a nice cut, but the way he got down and under his shoulders, and if he made a first down, it's strictly as a runner. And they're saying what?
They're saying they'll measure here.
Notre Dame is saying we got it, but I thought he made it. And if he did, it's going to be by a little bit.
Just under a minute to play here in the first quarter. The spirit of Notre Dame, it can pay off by the inch.
Here's Richards right there. I thought he made a nice cut, got back inside, and then got down low, came under, and came very, very close. Here we see another tangle, low, very low, and then moves forward. Did they give him everything that he got?
Mike Gottfried doesn't think so.
I'm not sure either.
Now the Irish with a chance to tack on more.
Here comes the draw.
Tony Rice slipping past the line of scrimmage and down at the 42-yard line. Number 98, Tony Saragusa again, who's been bothered with knee injuries. And Tony Rice calls for the timeout. So it's an opportunity that the Irish have, and Lou Holtz wants to take time.
I think it all goes back to the tight end, Sykes, who really didn't do a very good job of going for the first down, which got him in trouble. He really should have gotten under his shoulders and really gone for the first down. He just kind of leaped up in the air, and they knocked him back and was a yard short of the first down.
And when you're a big tight end with a great deal of speed, you've got to take advantage of that size. Even if you're on the sidelines, turn it back upfield.
Well, he is indeed big. He's a big tight end, all right, and he can run, and he'll stretch the defense with his speed, but he's big enough to get it done.
That's he right there. Number 88, right there next to Alex Van Pelt, getting a little liquidation on the sidelines. Second down and 5 now for the Fighting Irish. Rice is rolling, and Ismail is free. Crossman in double coverage.
Look out.
Incomplete. Boy, and they had plenty of help for Crossman, but the Rocket can get past 2 or 3. Crossman along with Hetzler, number 24, in coverage.
This just absolutely outright speed. Ismail, who runs a 4.28. Now watch this fluid running speed. It doesn't even look like he's running. Look him just go ahead to running past Crossman. That's beautiful. Yeah, Crossman in good position. He pushes off of him a little bit. But Ismail looks the ball in, does everything right, but just drops it.
And he's been close 2 times. And again, Tony Rice calls for the timeout. Not happy with the offensive set. And the Irish take yet another timeout.
On the last play, Culver, the fullback, number 5, was hurt and had to come out. Now, that's the second fullback that's gone down, and we're in there with the third fullback. And this could be a factor as we go into the second half, depending on how bad it is.
Look at the first half rebound, Vince. Last week against Southern Cal, the Irish really couldn't get out of the gates. And yet today, rushing yardage is up there above 100 already. They've only completed the 1 pass. Turnovers obviously have not been a problem. They were a week ago. Notre Dame doing today what they couldn't against SC.
They are, and what they did do is get a big play out of the interception on a poor judgment decision by the quarterback, Van Pelt, of throwing the football, and just one great interception by Pat Terrell, number 15, in return for the touchdown.
And that's the one thing they did do against Southern Cal in the first half. They did get a couple of opportunities by way of the turnover, and they made them pay off. They pitch it to Waters. Ricky Waters. Crossman with a chance, and he gets him down inside the 30 at the 28, and 28 seconds remain. 30 yards for Ricky Waters.
This is Ricky Waters' type play. When you get him outside, he can move. See the block by the fullback right here, number 35, McKello, and here goes Waters.
Ryan Mahalko is a fine blocker.
His aisle is right here. Oh, he makes a nice block. What an excellent block there, and that's why the play goes.
And Waters goes up the middle this time. Mahalko, 35, the running back, who's now playing the fullback spot, may never carry the football all year, but he is a fine blocker, and he gets playing time for Lou Holtz. He loves to have those tree stumps back there that can make way for the fleet-footed tailbacks.
Well, that's the beauty of depth, and you've got to have depth because this happens. You've got it there now going for the field goal with 7 seconds left.
They missed one earlier. Bob Carpenter, Bino Cook, and Lee Corso standing by. At halftime, they'll bring you up to date on all the scores in college football, update you on Game 4 of the World Series, which will be coming up later out at Candlestick Park in San Francisco. And, of course, get you ready for Game 2 of this blockbuster doubleheader. Miami and Florida State from Tallahassee. Bobby Bowden, Dennis Erickson have their troops ready. This will be a 46-yard attempt now for Hendrick. Sliding right again, and no good. 2 seconds are left. The Panthers will have an opportunity on the change of possession. So Hendrick has missed 2. One he thought he had, but the safety, the 2 points that they got early on, really dictated the tempo of this first half, Vince.
Lou was down there talking to him, and after you miss a couple of them, you got to always be a little careful about what you say. And the only way you can do it is just whatever you feel as a coach. Sometimes you let him know that he really isn't getting himself into it, and other times you may have to give him some confidence.
1 play remaining here in the first half. And they'll go to the locker room with a 10-point cushion, the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame.
What Notre Dame can do is find many different ways to beat you. Trouble. Now we got to see what they'll do. Here's Lou, and Notre Dame continues to find different ways to win football games. We're going to see how they're going to kick off this time, which really hurt them their decision last time.
Jeff Van Horn will kick off, and you see Rocket a smile. They go to the corner, and here comes Ragib.
Look out.
Nice idea, though, to use the boundary as the extra defender. Out of bounds at the 33-yard line. Notre Dame, in their possessions, as we look at the possession chart, They were 6 plays and out early on, 5 plays and out. Then they got 36 yards after the punt return for the touchdown. Then in plus field position, they managed a missed field goal, yet another missed field goal. And were it not for the interception by Pat Terrell, would not have this kind of lead.
That's tremendous field position with the minimum amount of offensive points.
And the quarterback draw again. Rice is stopped. Saragusa, the first to be there, helped by Crossman, coming up from that safety spot. Statistically, Pitt has controlled the ball longer, which we thought would be a key coming in, Vince. But again, penalties a problem. Notre Dame with 4, 3 of them on one play.
But look at the penalties of Pitt, and this is where they really came unrattled. They lost their poise when things went wrong for them. They got to regain it in the second half.
2nd and 6. Rodney Culver is back in at fullback. He had been injured earlier. And boy, is he nailed by Hamilton and the rest of that defensive front. Hamilton the first to get there, but there was plenty of help from Nelson Walker, number 94, out of Denora, Pennsylvania. There he is. Hometown of Stan Musial, Denora. He's another popular athlete.
My hero, Stan the man.
3rd and 6, and Mike Godfrey, that was a point of emphasis, poise, for his defense.
And they lost their poise, but they need to get it back. And it looks like after that play, they may start to have it back.
Rod Gibb is in the slot. Rice keeps it, and he's nailed. Prentice Wright, number 7, coming up from the right linebacker spot. He helped turn that play back in. So Notre Dame 3 plays and out on the opening drive of the half.
The last 2 possessions have been tremendous pursuit by Pittsburgh. The last play, this play on the option, and that's what you got to do to stop the option and to stop Tony Rice. You got to pursue the football. And they did that exceptionally well the last 2 plays.
Sexton will punt it away. Check that. Hendrick. It was Hendrick this time, and did he get some distance? Into the end zone and out. 61 yards. And the Panthers will be where they were most of the first half to start the second, at their 20. They weren't in the beginning, though. 68 yards without a huddle the first drive for a touchdown. -3 in that safety. That was the gimme. Then they had to punt after 3 plays. They became conservative because of the field position. -2 yards in a punt. Then only 9 yards and the punt. And then the interception by Terrell. And then 41 yards, and they lost the ball on downs twice. Sykes could not get the first down on a 3rd down conversion.
Terrible field position in the first half.
Van Pelt adjusts his back. Derek Lewis, the lone setback. And Lewis is stopped. Ohm, number 90. The 6'7", 270-pounder who had an outstanding first half. 1 blocked pass to make the stop. A loss of a yard.
His arms to the left of the screen, and it looks like more than anything else, Pitt looked a little confused. Makes an excellent tackle right here on Derek Lewis, number 26. Arms did a good job, but Pitt hurt themselves.
Richards the eye back. And Curvin gets it. Curvin picks up about 4 up to the 24-yard line. Richards had 29 yards of that 68-yard first drive. And Vince, they went without the huddle, and that was really the only time they were effective because they had Notre Dame guessing defensively.
Well, they went without the huddle a little bit, but they had such terrible field position in the first half. That is what's hurt them more than anything else, and they got to continue to give the ball to Richards. They don't give it to him enough.
Adam Walker now in the game, the lone setback on 3rd and 6. Van Pelt loses it. Notre Dame's got it. Kowalkowski.
Van Pelt back, and somebody came from the backside and got their arm. It's 37, Kowalkowski right there. And he knocked it out before it had any motion forward, so it's definitely a fumble. We'll take a second look at it. There he is right there. He was cranking it up, fumbled it. Great, tremendous play by Kowalkowski.
Started it and then recovered it. And Culver gets inside the 15, down to the Pittsburgh 13. And Van Pelt now has suffered the interception as well as the fumble, and it's back to the phone, and quarterback coach Paul Hackett will try to renew some confidence for him.
He was stepping up into the pocket, getting ready to crank the ball, had to tie it in open, and Kowalkowski stripped the football.
2nd and 6 now for the Irish. Culver and Waters are the backs. Eiler's the only wide receiver, and they run the option. Waters fumbles it out of bounds at the 11-yard line. Louis Riddick was right there. Let's get down to Dr. Jerry Punch.
Timmy, a little update on the senior fullback, Anthony Johnson, who was carried off the field late in the first quarter. Now, Johnson has previously a sprained left ankle. He re-sprained the ankle. They taped the ankle and put high-top shoes on him. He is limping pretty significantly on the sidelines. He can go back in if needed, but they're going to try to make it with Culver and Mahalko. Now, Culver, you know, got injured just before the first half was over. He had a stinger, possibly a pinched nerve in the neck, but he is back in playing now, and, of course, they have lost Johnson.
Thanks, Jerry, and we saw that taped ankle, and it doesn't appear that he could keep his footing if he did get in. Ismail gets a yard, if that, inside the 10. And they set up now for a possible field goal try. But remember, Hendrick has missed twice. Notre Dame has had many an opportunity and not converted. Their offense has not gotten it done.
Well, they're going to go for this one. They're not going to try the field goal. And it's 2 yards. Normally you'd kick the ball, but I think in light of what happened already, 2 missed field goals, he wants to go for it. And you're going to have Tony Rice with a football. I bet he's going to end up with it.
Rod West, the extra tight end, number 43 in the game. Culver.
Oh, they gave it to the fullback. He read that. It was an option.
And a good read by Tony, and that's why the senior leader is truly a Heisman candidate.
That's a fair option, reading the lineman. Then he has a decision whether to give the ball or take it out. He comes out. You can see his eyes reading the defensive lineman, and he gives the ball to Culver, and he makes the first down right here. Reads the tackle who came upfield, and he gave the ball.
Rodney Culver, a straight-ahead runner, has had problems hanging on to the ball at times in his career here. 1st and goal, Fighting Irish. Rodney already with a touchdown earlier in the game. Notre Dame's only offensive touchdown. Cracking down to the 2, and it will be 2nd down and goal. Saragusa in there again. Well, Gottfried's team building themselves a bit of a hole to come out of, just as they did in Morgantown a few weeks back in a game you witnessed here on ESPN.
Well, this is the beauty of a running offense, to be able to put the ball in the end zone inside the 10-yard line.
Eilers now is in that wishbone, along with Waters and Culver. Rice short of the end zone. And again, the penetration of that defensive front and good support from Crossman coming up again, Vince. Along with Curtis Bray.
Here goes Rice, and normally he would have scored, but I'd have to say there's a lot of excellent, great tackling by number 37 and by Crossman. Here's Spindler right here, who is one man. He comes over, keeps his feet going, gets in a little bit, and got his ankle. Got a little part of his ankle and twisted him back.
Now Bellis in the backfield, number 8 with Culver and Waters. Culver nearly has it stripped, and he may have lost a half yard. And Bradley and McDonald all combine on the tackle. And again, Prentice Wright.
This is a strong pit front forward wall. Number 7, Prentice Wright. Let's see him. Comes in, makes the play off the corner, but the lineman who went down, and that probably was number 91, Carmel Smith, is the one that did it.
Tony Rice not happy with the selection, and a timeout has been called by Pittsburgh's defense. So Mike Gottfried wants to confer with his Panther team, so stay with us.
Number 94, Nelson Walker, who gets under the block, and this stymies everything right at the line of scrimmage. Now you've got good pursuit that can come in. like Prentice Wright, number 7. But the real key to that was Nelson Walker's penetration and getting under the block of number 12, Ricky Waters.
And Notre Dame 6 out of 7 on 4th down conversions. They have a chance against that penetrating Pitt defense.
They'll probably go with the same play, the read option to the right behind that power group. Let's see. There it is. He reads it.
Rice to Waters, touchdown.
Keeps the ball and then makes the pitch on the cornerback Hampton. And what a job Rice does of handling the option.
Hendrick knocks it through. And he needs that more than you know, more than many may realize. Ricky Waters gets the touchdown. It's 24-7, 8:15 remaining here in the 3rd quarter. Let's get back to Bob Carpenter. Thank you, Bob. And John Cooper needed that one desperately today. Vince, let's take a look at a nice call by Coach Dooley. You read it, you saw it, and so did Tony Rice.
Well, the right side of the line at the left of your screen is the power side. They can block. There's Brown making his block, and Rice just handles the option beautifully. He can either give it to the fullback or keep it himself or make the nice pitch as he did right here. Watch him read. Now he comes around, loses it, and then pitches out on Alonzo Hampton, number 3.
The reaction of Waters never changes. Every time in the end zone, the sign of the cross.
You pause to give thanks to a lot of people, including Tony Rice.
Hendrick to kick it away. Crossman a yard deep. Here he comes. Nailed in a hurry by Andre Jones, number 7. Out of Hyattsville, Maryland, 6'4", 215-pound junior, and he plays a lot at left end.
Yeah, and he plays on all the special teams, and that's the thing about Notre Dame. On special teams, you're going to find some of their top-line troops out there on like Jones.
The scoring drive for the Fighting Irish off yet another turnover. 2 for 2 in this category. 8 plays, 17 yards, 3:36 off the clock before the Waters run. Nice ball fake again by Van Pelt. Pruitt wanted it. Van Pelt steps out of bounds at the 24-yard line. Good coverage again by the Notre Dame secondary. Bolkar ushered him out of bounds.
I like the play of Andre Jones there because he wanted to go ahead and dare Van Pelt to run, so he stayed in coverage. He didn't go up because Van Pelt wanted him to do that so he could pass the ball, but he stayed with the receiver and caused Van Pelt to run and only pick up 3 or 4 yards.
Mike Gottfried needs this offense to get on track and in a hurry. Down by 17 with 8 minutes remaining in the 3rd. Over the middle to Orlando Truitt, and he fumbles it. And Pitt's got it.
Fortunate to get it back. Truitt, just a freshman, just overly anxious, just ran away with the ball, left it.
Adam Walker recovered the fumble for Pittsburgh. After the fumble now, it will be perhaps measurement time. We have a Pittsburgh Panther down on the field as well. It's 86 Eric Seaman, the tight end.
Here's Zurich rolling into Van Pelt. And let's see. Yeah, that hurt, but not as bad as it could have hurt. Here's the pass. Out to Truitt, just a freshman, but he's got that ball out. And he's so anxious, he just runs up. And number 21, Smith, actually punched it out.
But this time, the Panthers hold on. We'll check on Eric Seaman. Hit down by 17.
comes Truitt with the football, and now it's knocked out by Smith, and this is where Seaman gets hurt. He gets kicked right in the lower stomach. And that hurt.
It certainly did, and they're tending to him. Now, they have 3 tight ends that they use a great deal. David Moore along with Lionel Sykes. And Moore, number 83, is in the slot in the game now. Sykes is number 88. First and 10, Pitt at their 35, and Richards gets only a yard. Alm and Bolkar collaborate on the stop. 24-7 our score, but need we remind you that the Pitt Panthers have been down by more than this in the second half and come back. Those of you that are dedicated and have been with ESPN college football throughout the year already know that. They were down by 22 to West Virginia just a few weeks ago in Morgantown.
Well, that's because you got this kind of a quarterback, Van Pelt, that can bring you back after being down.
Gets it away to Sykes. And Sykes is above the 45 and out at the 48-yard line. Don Grimm, the right side linebacker, made the stop.
Well, Van Pelt goes back, but when he does and throw, and this is the test of a quarterback, to stand in there with this kind of punishment. And they did hit him. Zorich, Alms, and those are big folks. Here's Zorich right here, number 50. A man if I've ever seen one. How?
At the 48-yard line, first down, Pittsburgh. Redmond, boy, they just can't get anything up the middle any longer. We need an injury update, and we'll get one from Dr. Jerry Punch.
Well, as you called it, Eric Seaman, looking over my shoulder back here. Seaman has walked back into the players, and he has a groin injury. But more importantly and more concerningly right now is Carnell Smith, the defensive end. He was taken into the locker room for x-rays of his neck. It took one set and really were inconclusive. They have taken a second set. They are reading those films now. Hopefully, Carnell Smith will be able to come back. He has walked back onto the field, but they have yet to look at the x-rays of his neck. Tim?
All right, Jerry, thank you. And Dr. Jerry Punch is a surgeon and one-time walk-on quarterback for Lou Holtz at NC State. Sykes grabs it over the middle. The tight end dragging over, and the backs coming out of the backfield. That's what's been there for this Pitt offense all day long. And it's a first down again inside the Notre Dame 40. Grimm made the stop.
That's part of the possession plan of being able to keep the ball, and then when you need to go for it and get it over the middle with the backs or over the middle with the tight end. And Sykes did a good job of going upfield after he caught it for the first down.
Threw it in the slot. Play fake. Sykes incomplete. DeJuan Francisco was right there with him. In fact, Sykes is claiming that he may have been interfered with. But it will be second down coming up. Look at that. The Irish Blues for Pitt. They were 7-0. That was their fastest start coming into this game. The best record they had, and they lost the game. They've only won one time when they came in unbeaten, and that was way back during the Depression era.
Bud, so far back.
Second and 10. Hołakowski had a chance for another interception. And miscommunication between receiver and quarterback that time.
The play before, Notre Dame came with a blitz. That time, Pitt went into maximum protection, which gave Van Pelt time enough to throw the ball, but he did not make a good throw.
Well, we talked a lot earlier about Bolkar and Grimm and being exploitable, but what they are steady players. In Bolkar's case, he's a team leader.
Force you into passing situations.
Third and 10.
Here's the blitz.
Dumping it over the middle, and it's dropped by Tootin with Pat Terrell in his face. And that may have been the reason for the drop.
Well, I don't think Tootin was really ready for that, because that's a read, and Tootin came out, should have seen, he's not ready for the ball. Came to him a little fast. He should have been reading the linebackers as he came off the line and saw the blitz. Then it's automatic. Turn quickly to the passer, which he should have done, and he would have made a good play here.
Panthers now in 4-down territory, obviously. Fourth down and 10. timeout has been taken by the officials, it appears. No, now we find out it is in fact the Irish that have called the timeout. 5:37 remaining, and Lou Holtz is a little upset that that timeout was utilized. He's talking with Barry Alvarez as defensive coordinator. Lou knows he may need those in the fourth.
The reason he called. Lou Holtz is really mad because the timeout was called by the defense. He wanted Pitt to go ahead and run the play. Now he goes to Barry Alvarez and says, what in the world's going on? Barry said, I don't know.
And Gottfried is putting the game on the line, Vince.
Well, he definitely is right here, and I think it's too early to do that. I think that if it were into the fourth quarter early, I'd do it, but the game may be on the line right here.
Van Pelt with time. Tootin broken up by Todd Light.
Now, this is a tough place now to... Well, you could have lost the game right here. Depends on what Notre Dame does, but you give them excellent field position.
You're right, near the 40-yard line. And Lou Holtz instructs to Tony Rice.
Yeah, let's grind it. Let's move it down the field. Let's eat some clock. Well, here comes Tootin, who is number 81, without a doubt the best receiver, but just excellent coverage by number 1 Light, who is a top football player. He's already got 6 interceptions and should have had that one.
They operate out of the eye to the Irish. And Rice with the sprint out.
Now.
And another first down for Notre Dame up near the 50. Crossman again making the tackle after the 10-yard gain. And Lou seems to be in a better mood now.
A lot better. Ran right over there to him so he can just give him the instructions himself. That's why he called that sweep.
Notre Dame and Lou Holtz, what they do with this offense, they give you a lot of formations, a lot of ways to think defensively, but usually it's either Rice, Ismail, or Waters that touch the ball.
And most of the time, Rice. And speaking of Ismail, he's in the backfield on a little draw. Look out.
Yeah.
Look at that speed. Look at that speed.
No one will catch him. Touchdown.
Sometime during the course of the ball game. I'd like to see a highlight film on this guy. What speed.
If Rock Ev were a senior, even with last week's fumbles, he would be the leader for the Heisman. He really would be.
Here's Ismail back in the backfield. Jump from the tailback over to the halfback position on the draw play. They're going to bring it right back to him. Now he's going to find the crack, and can he motor? Going by people that got angles on him. Number 5, Riddick, couldn't get him. Crossman couldn't get him. Here it is again from the backside. Watch this. Now when he sees it, look out. Number 5, Riddick just can't make that kind of play. He's just too fast. Crossman can't make it. When you run a 4.2840, now that's flying. Here it is, one more time. Just look at the speed. There's no way you can take the proper angle.
And they've really created something with the energy level and the idea of being number 1. These guys know it, and when I say if he were a senior, he'd be the leader for the Heisman, Vince, think about it. Well, the value that a player brings to his team, and Ismail brings it to you as a return man, as a running back, as a receiver, and there you see the result, 31-7 here in the third quarter with 4:53 to play in the third.
He's laying the foundation for the Heisman. I can assure you of that.
Crossman again from his end zone. And down at the 20. Number 48 there to make the stop for the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, Michael Smalls. USC leading Stanford 3-0 in the second quarter. Oregon State, boy, they're a hot club, having beaten UCLA. Now they beat Cal. Cal State Long Beach losing to Oregon. That's a final. And New Mexico now trailing Wyoming. They had led that game earlier. Now Paul Roach's team seizing control by a touchdown. Here, 4:48 remaining here in the third quarter. Van Pelt swings it out to Richards. And DeJuan Francisco, the first to hit him. Then McDonald and Bolcar beef it up a bit and put him to the grass. Devon McDonald, brother of Ricardo, had a knee injury that bothered him all summer long. Was pressed into starting duty against Michigan because Kolakowski was out, and they didn't miss a beat against Bo Schembechler's Wolverines.
He's the best pass rusher and the identical twin of Ricardo McDonald.
Second down and 13 now for the Panthers. Batted down by guess who? Jeff Alm.
Oh boy, I'd never rush this guy. I'd let him take 3 steps past the line of scrimmage and just stand there. He's got long arms, and you'd even say he's got long hands, and he can jump. Now, that's as much as you want him to rush. Stand right in front and then jump. Look at that. What a basketball player he would have been. And might have been.
Yeah, he gets higher off the ground than Tim Kempton did when he played for Digger Phelps.
What a body he's got.
And Kempton made it to the NBA. Third down, 13. Him, and it's caught. Orlando Truitt makes the grab. Todd Light hauls him down at the 42-yard line, and Van Pelt was pelted by number 90 in blue.
And he indeed was pelted. His arms on a little twist. Now he's rushing from the outside. Van Pelt stays in there, but wow, does he hit him. I mean, his headgear shook when Arms hit him. Watch him go back and watch that headgear as Arms comes around from the outside. Watch him hit him. You can see the headgear shaking. That's got to hurt. Ooh.
Van Pelt already with a sore knee from that pat on the knee he took from Zorich in the second quarter. That pass intended for Reggie Williams. Todd Light right there with Reggie. And it'll be 2nd and 10. Well, you have to give Van Pelt a lot of credit in operating this offense as a freshman in this situation. Yes, he's had a number of turnovers, but this is an offense that changed completely when Darnell Dickerson failed to make it academically, and they asked a lot of this freshman.
Well, they went from an option offense to primarily a pass-run balance offense with absolutely no option because Van Pelt is not an option quarterback. But that's what college football is all about.
Van Pelt lofting it, and it's picked off again. DeJuan Francisco. Out of bounds at the 27-yard line of Notre Dame. Francisco gets it to the pit, 27. And a dangerous throw again, Vince.
He just lays it up. It's too easy, too much of an arch, and just really throws it to Francisco, who is really a fine defensive back. He's not very good strong safety because he's not very strong, but he can cover in the secondary.
4.35 in the 40. That should rank him, what, about 12th? 12th fastest on the Notre Dame team?
11th or 12th.
Notre Dame out of the eye. Colburn Waters. Pitt claiming Dean Brown move, but no flag. Waters runs behind him, piercing inside the 25 down to the 24. From Notre Dame Stadium, turning point. 4:03 into the first quarter. The Panthers backed up, having not played on the grass. Van Pelt loses his footing and gives up the easy 2. But more importantly, field position in the entire first half the rest of the way. And Alex Van Pelt has been feeling the heat and talking on the phone ever since. Rice Rice down to the 15-yard line. Consider this also, Vince, when we talk about that being the turning point. Pitt was leading the game 7-0, and after that, they had no field position, and Notre Dame's defense was never off balance again.
And they seemed to come unglued, lost their poise, a lot of penalties, poor field position, yes, but never got out of there because they made so many mistakes. 7 penalties in the first half. And I know this guy, Coach Gottfried, is down.
Zorich enjoying it on the sidelines.
Another option.
And why not? With Tony Rice running it down to the 11-yard line. ACC scores today. That's a hot race for the Florida Citrus Bowl coming up at the end of the year. North Carolina State in a non-conference game, but yet very important. They get the win. Clemson stays in the hunt with 2 losses with a win over Wake Forest. The Terrapins, Joe Krivak, shuts out Mike Brown's club. And the Cavaliers, well, Derek Dooley's team got a victory today.
A 1-pointer. Mighty close, but Louisville beat them last year on a final field goal by 1 point.
Bigger win than you'd think with the kind of club Schnellenberger's had the last 2 years.
They won together. He's checking. He may sweep wide. When in doubt, run the option.
And run it inside the 5, down near the 2. Mark Spindler made the tackle. 1st and goal.
Here's the option, and here's Ismail. Let's see what he does. He'll go after you. He will. And a little extra effort, I think, that kept the defensive end, Hamilton, from making the play.
Yeah, that block by that 175-pounder that runs the 4.2840 got the yardage there.
Just a little extra. He had second effort, and that made the difference on Hamilton.
1st and goal now from the 2. They go inside, but not quite in. Rodney Culver again. Straight ahead runner, but with a great deal of power. Mike Boykin being tended to down on the sidelines. Looking at that knee. Well, Pittsburgh had a week off to prepare for this game. They will get yet another week off after this game. That's the good news. The bad news for Mike Gottfried, Miami will be the team he faces at Pitt Stadium. This was Pittsburgh's chance to vault into the national picture. Culver, touchdown.
Here's Culver, who just leaps up in the air. Number 92, Hamilton, is blocked. You got to get low when you're at the goal line. Standing up, Wright makes the tackle, but when you're down on the goal line, as in the case of Hamilton, you got to get down and go under. He was too high, and Culver went right over him.
The extra point is added, and the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame have extended their lead to 31. And the thunderous crowd is getting into it. 49 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter, and it's cheer, cheer for old Notre Dame.
Here's the touchdown again, and Culver over the top, and you'll see that number 92 Hamilton has got knocked back because he's too high. We got one more top shot of the touchdown. Let's see if we can see Hamilton. You can see him now. He's entirely too high. And he's getting blocked by Derek Brown, number 86. And you can't get up that high. I don't care how strong you are against a blocker like Derek Brown. But he's just a freshman, Hamilton is, and he'll learn from this.
Having Culver, though, to back up Johnson was very important coming out in the second half, wasn't it, Coach?
He can block, not like Johnson, but pretty close, and he can run. And they could continue to run their option extremely well. And if Culver had been hurt, I'm not sure how well they could have run their option with the next fullback. And Notre Dame needs to run their option.
Hendrick to kick it away. Jermaine Williams is back deep along with Crossman. Crossman from his 2. Juan Francisco stops him at the 35. Game 1 may be nearly done, but Game 2 features Dennis Erickson with his first crack at Florida State with redshirt freshman Gino Torretta. But he has to play Bobby and his bad boys from Tallahassee, and Florida State has revenge on its mind. That's coming up next. Ron Franklin, Kevin Kiley, number 2 versus number 9. And should Miami win that game, bowl officials will be waiting for that matchup between Notre Dame and Miami at the end of the year. Richards gets 3. And let's get back to our college football studios and Bob Carpenter. Bob?
All right, Timmy, and the Irish victim of a week ago, Southern Cal, looking good at home. The pitch to Ricky Irvins. He's in from 9. And in the second quarter, Southern Cal over Stanford, 10-zip.
All right, thank you, Bob. Well, Larry Smith, one of the fine coaches in college football, back in the Pac-10. Second down and 7 yards to go here for Pittsburgh in the waning seconds of the third quarter. And it appears that the Panthers will wait it out and regroup for the next 15 minutes. The Fighting Irish from Notre Dame, 2 wins away from tying Leahy's record for consecutive wins. While Pitt's not hanging it up yet, Vince Dooley, that decision that Mike Gottfried made in the third quarter going on 4th down was critical, and we'll talk about it in a moment. Split backs now behind Van Pelt. And he's sacked. They'll rule him down, it appears. Incompleted forward pass is what they're ruling. Jeff Alm got to Mike Gottfried.
As bad Jeff Alms, number 90, who has had 1 football game from the backside. And I guess he ruled that he passed the ball. I don't know. Or he was down. I don't know what he ruled.
But you said, Vince, that Mike was putting the game on the line when he went for it on 4th down. He gave up the field position, and Notre Dame converted.
I really thought he put the game on the line a little bit too early. Too early in the ball game to do it, and I think he made a mistake.
Little flare pattern, and it's out to the 45-yard line. Ronald Redmond, Juan Francisco, and Todd Light made the stop. But at the same time, he may have been thinking, Vince, hey, my freshman quarterback needs confidence. It's his first time in Notre Dame Stadium. Maybe that's the reason he made the decision.
Well, I'm sure he had a lot of reasons. And if they'd have gone ahead and made the first down, it would have been great. But I question putting the game on the line that early in the ball game. Maybe into the 4th quarter, but there was still plenty of time left in the 3rd.
1st and 10. Again with a defender by the name of Alm in his face, an incompleted pass, and he picks up this crowd.
Alm says, I want a little recognition.
Notre Dame has plenty of recognition with their coaches year after year against top 10 teams. Lou Holtz 8-5, along with Leahy and Devine and Ara Parseghian, who still makes his home near Notre Dame Stadium. And Lou Holtz put it all on his shoulders coming into this game. Controversy surrounding the program over an incident in the tunnel prior to the Southern California game a week ago. Quick play action, and that one just dropped by Baron Jackson. Well, Pitt is losing its concentration now. That should have been a first down.
I think Baron Jackson was not looking at the football like he should have. He was looking at something else coming down the field in the secondary.
You liked what Lou did, though, emotionally. We saw him yesterday, and you felt that he was taking the responsibility of the team, not only because he was embarrassed and hurt by what happened, but because he thought this was the way to get the best out of his team.
Well, that's his job, and we'll talk about that some more.
3rd and 10. Draw to Redmond. Grimm grabs him along with McDonald.
Actually, when you get down to it, there's only one person responsible, and that's the head football coach, regardless of what happens. They're excited now, but Lou Holtz really had a rough week. He had to shoulder all the responsibility, which meant that the team went on, and I think it served as a rallying point. I thought it brought the Notre Dame team closer together, and adversity will do that. The old Greek poet Homer once said that adversity excites talent that in more prosperous days would lie dormant. They turned an adversity into a positive.
Waters is back deep, not Ismail, and he goes into the end zone, and Notre Dame will take over. Well, we're reciting poetry now here in the fourth quarter. ESPN's College Football Saturday. Pittsburgh versus Notre Dame is brought to you by Isuzu, the first car builders of Japan. By Heil Furnaces, the Energy Savers, and by Anheuser-Busch. We brew our fine quality beers to be enjoyed responsibly. Remember, know when to say when. With Vince Dooley, I'm Tim Brando, live from Notre Dame Stadium. The Irish with a 31-point lead as we open the fourth quarter. Rick Meyer in the game at quarterback, and Reggie Brooks picks up 4 yards. And there's Meyer from Goshen, Indiana, just a freshman.
Maybe the next quarterback. We'll get a good look at the future of Notre Dame at quarterback. A little better passer, I believe, than Rice, but not the runner.
Yeah, and
but who is?
Yeah. And a highly touted, and Notre Dame has gotten their fair share of highly touted players since Lou Holtz came to town. 2nd and 6. Brooks again stopped it near the line of scrimmage. Well, Mike Gottfried knew before he got inside Notre Dame Stadium his team had to play its best.
I expect us to play well. I'd hope we'd play well. If we don't, we could be involved in a track meet who wins the discus and the shot put, because they're so talented that if you don't play up and you don't play almost a near perfect football game, you're not going to be around to tell about it.
Well, that's what happened when Ismail broke on that play. They really were not up to trying to pursue him like they should have earlier in the ball game.
By the way, Mike has been microphoned for this game, and you'll hear him on the sidelines next week on College Game Day. Over the middle, incomplete. Bellis was the intended receiver, and the fans obviously wanted pass interference. Robert Bradley, number 16, was in coverage. College Game Day, of course, kicks off your college football Saturday every week at 11:30 Eastern Time with Bob Carpenter, Bino Cook, and Lee Corso. Punt time now, and Hentrick will do the honors for Notre Dame. Spiraling punt for Hampton at the 23. Down at the 34, and a bevy of blue waiting for him. 56 yards, 12 yards on the return, and we'll be back. It's a dream, but here's the hard reality for Pitt. They're down by 31 with 12 minutes remaining at Notre Dame Stadium against the #1 Fighting Irish. 3 minutes gone here in the fourth quarter. Play fake. Van Pelt finds Sykes, and Sykes shows you what he has by getting the ball inside Notre Dame territory at the 45. A 20-yard gain. Sean Smith, number 98, made the stop. Well, opportunistic, Notre Dame, you bet. The safety, that's an easy 2. The interception leads to a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. A fumble turns into 7, and the interception. So that's how Notre Dame wins, with that and with tradition, Coach.
They find different ways to win, but one thing that's fundamentally sound, you learn how not to beat yourself first before you learn how to beat people.
Problems in the exchange there, and Redmond is hammered at the 43-yard line by Grimm and Andre Jones. Well, it's been a difficult week for Lou Holtz, not only because of the incident in the tunnel, but the coach may also be called as a witness in a trial set to begin next week in Minneapolis, arising from criminal charges and alleged NCAA violations while he was coach at the University of Minnesota in '84 and '85. Holtz denied any knowledge or involvement of the alleged violations, and he has refused comment about the matter pending that trial. You know that's on his mind, as well as this game and the circumstances from a week ago. 2nd and 8. Play fake. Intercepted. Todd Light.
And that's his 7th one of the year.
Remember, he made that great defensive play earlier when Pitt was driving on 4th down to turn them away.
Number 1 Light is one fine defensive back. He's a 4.40. Here's Van Pelt, continues to lob the ball up in the air, and almost anybody's ball to get it, trying to throw it to Truitt, number 80, but actually threw it directly to Light.
And the lights are on for number 1 here in Notre Dame, and why not? At the 20-yard line, 1st down. Mahalko, the plugging, blocking fullback, gets it upfield beyond the 25 to the 27-yard line. Pete Graham, number 11 in the game now at quarterback. He's a senior out of Rumson, New Jersey. Getting some playing time now for Coach Holtz.
Well, you'll probably see him grind the clock a little bit now and try to make 1st downs and try to run it down with a running game.
Griggs is in the game, number 14, up at the top of your screen at the flanker position. Mahalko again up to the 29-yard line. Over on the Pittsburgh side, Dr. Jerry Punch.
On the Pittsburgh sidelines is a solemn one. They're facing an emotion they have not felt all year, the possibility of having a loss here in the 1989 season. Now, Mike Gottfried's club will not quit. They remember what happened back in West Virginia when they were trailing 31-9 and came back to tie that game. But that game is almost a different ball game than what we have here today. Only 9 minutes to go in this game, and Notre Dame seems to have the line of scrimmage well in hand. Timmy?
Yeah, you're right, they do. But remember, Mike Gottfried is a coach of the present and the future. Pitt will be involved in a bowl game by year's end. That is his goal. It's a 1st down carry up to the 31-yard line for the Irish. And they'll retain possession of the football as again Mahalko carries. Mike Gottfried, in my opinion, Vince, is the coach of the 90s. He pushes all the right buttons, says all the right things. You can't just be an X's and O's guy. You have to be a public relations man as well, and he knows that game as well.
He's a complete football coach. He knows his X's and O's, but he handles people. He's a people person. Excellent football coach.
Brooks shedding tackler after tackler and has another 1st down to the 41-yard line.
Reggie Brooks is the younger brother of Tony Brooks, who such a fine back for Notre Dame last year. They're out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. And Reggie looks like he's hurt a little bit.
He's hobbling coming off. He's not the only injured player. So too is Van Pelt. More than just his feelings are hurt. Ice being applied to that knee.
He's had a rough night. But there'll be other days.
Boy, his dad's got to be proud of him. Greg Van Pelt, back in West Virginia, saw his son move to Texas. Parents separated when he was a youngster. Made a name for himself playing in San Antonio. As you see the measurement, it is good for the 1st down. But Van Pelt was not really a highly recruited player, Vince, but he was focused as a youngster, and that's why Paul Hackett is so high on the information he can retain. All along, he was planning on being in this situation even this early.
He's a very quiet competitor, great student of the game, very accurate passer, at least he was up until tonight. He can't throw the ball down the middle like he did, and it's unfortunate, but that's the life of a quarterback.
The Irish go right up the middle. Dorsey Levens at the tailback spot now, carrying the ball. Picking up 4 yards. It'll be 2nd and 6.
Well, you mentioned Lou Holtz. I'll tell you, that's going to be, that's the life of a football coach, too, is a series of crises. And it seems like you go through that as a football coach, if not on the field, off the field. There's always something going on in the life of a football coach in this day and time.
2nd and 7. And they swing it out to Levens. And wisely he gets on top of it. It could have been considered a lateral, but it was not. It was a forward pass. Falls incomplete. But Levens had the presence of mind to quickly get on top of it.
I've seen many a pass go out that it was lateral, and everybody just stand and watch it. And finally somebody come and pick it up.
Take a look at this, will you? Pittsburgh's rushing defense. Well, it's been more than tripled today by Notre Dame. They were 10th in the country coming in.
Well, they didn't do what they wanted and needed to do. They needed to slow the rushing game down and the big playability down, and they needed to create a must-throw situation for Notre Dame. They haven't done that.
Option play, and Bellis gets it up to about the 48. Steve Bellis, a converted quarterback as well. Other scores, Bill Mallory's team goes down to Michigan, but Thompson did tie the NCAA record for touchdowns. The Fighting Illini for Coach Makovic and Jeff George with a big day over Wisconsin. Ohio State coming from behind by 31 to win that game. You know John Cooper's happy. And Hayden Fry's Hawkeyes get past Northwestern, while Michigan State, perhaps the best 2-4 team coming in, finally gets the W.
They have had some tough schedule.
Well, think of Perlis, all those close games he lost, including last week's game against Illinois, a game seen on ESPN.
Had Notre Dame going for a good while.
4th down and 2. I think been the most physical defense Notre Dame faced was George Perlis' team, and they draw the offsides, and it should be a first down for Notre Dame. Jeff Esther's number 97, the sophomore tackle, jumped over. Notre Dame, a top 10 killer, and no coach at Notre Dame has done this. Won that many consecutive games against that many top 10 opponents. Not even Leahy, not even Rockne, but Holtz has done it.
And the biggest of all, of course, beating Miami, the #1 team last year, 31-30 right here.
And the thing that Lou has done is he's put 2 thoughts in mind for the opposition. You don't just prepare offensively and defensively now, you have to prepare for the special teams. More than just lip service is paid to specialty teams as Lou continues to coach and teach. And the other thing is he's made people think about that flanker position since Tim Brown. Now it's Ismail that they have to concentrate on. Where does he line up? Levens with a big hole. Down to the 32-yard line before Hetzler, number 24, the junior from Pittsburgh, could make the stop.
Here he is, number 4, Darcy Levens, and we're down to about 4th tailback. Good, strong runner.
And Brooks is going off the field on crutches down near that tunnel. Boy, it's been tough on the Notre Dame backs tonight.
They're just going to continue to go ahead and grind the clock and keep it going, keep moving. You mentioned Notre Dame and Lou Holtz, and I'll tell you what I think is they are so complete that they find different ways to win, particularly when they're playing big opponents. You go back to the Michigan game, which was so big and so important. They won the ball game with 2 kickoff returns. That's what won the football game. Now here we had interceptions.
As you see Brooks going off, remember this, Johnson's hurt, he's out. Brooks is hurt, he's out. Now it could be a costly victory in terms of the running back power the Notre Dame team has in the following weeks. And the Fighting Irish schedule is difficult the rest of the way. That's the other thing that's impressive. I mean, every week they play top opponents.
There's no play. It's a dead ball foul. We have movement on the line before the snap. It's dead ball.
And remember, when they play, it's these teams' games of the year. Virginia's a pretty good club. They absolutely blew them away. Michigan was a tough win. So was Michigan State. Purdue, they eased past Stanford. They were sluggish in that game, admittedly. Then moved on, kept winning, playing tough opponents. Air Force was unbeaten. It was their first big game. SC, they got past them, even though they were beaten statistically. And the rest of the way, a bit of a break against Navy and SMU, obviously. I don't know if I want to see the final in that one. But Penn State and Miami to close it out.
2 big ones. Yeah, 2 big ones.
Down to the 34-yard line. Scheduling is so important, too. Vince, you know it as well as anyone, as Meyer will be facing a 2nd and long. And where the schedule fits Notre Dame after SC getting that victory and now winning this game is very important for them. They could have had a letdown here.
Southern Cal game, to me, was the game that has brought Notre Dame closer together than anything because they had to do it offensively and defensively in the 4th quarter. Looking long, incomplete.
Late flag down on the play. While we check that out, let's get down to Dr. Jerry Punch on the sidelines. Jerry?
Well, Reggie Brooks was taken off the field. The freshman from Tulsa, Oklahoma, the fullback, was taken to the locker room for possible x-rays on an ankle injury. They hope it's a sprain, but they're going to x-ray it to make sure. The card number 40, Reggie Brooks, in for x-rays. Tim?
All right, Doctor. Thank you very much. Chet Hollister was the intended receiver that time, and this marker, obviously, against Pitt.
Personal foul, roughing the quarterback on the defense, automatic first down.
And the news gets worse and worse for Mike Godfrey. Play selection throughout the course of this game. Notre Dame 55 running, 9 in the air. But you know what? They get the most mileage out of their passing game. They may only connect a couple of times, but it comes at the right moment.
Well, a great running game is going to hit some big passes.
Good work, Bob.
And while Rice is not a good passer, he's a clutch passer. He's able to hit the big one at the right time.
5 minutes left. Bellis takes on the Pitt defenders. Bobby Boykin hit him, but Bellis kept on trucking. Alabama with a victory over Penn State today. Bill Curry, that was a tester for his schedule. West Virginia over Boston College. We'll see West Virginia and Penn State next week. Army beating Rutgers today. Jim Young's team back on track. And the Orangemen, Dick McPherson's club, since we last left them, have won 2 in a row.
The Alabama victory tells me that Alabama is for real.
Yeah.
To come off that big win over Tennessee and then go to State College and beat Penn State. You've got to be really good.
Yeah, the SEC has been hurting itself with non-conference games like that in mid-season. There's Bellis. Touchdown, Steve Bellis. Mark Spindler has seen too much of that from Notre Dame.
Steve Bellis, just another in a line of good football players, and he can play a lot of positions. Halfback, wide receiver, runs well, spins off, and scores.
He was the happy player that got to win the national title in his hometown out of Phoenix, Arizona. That game in Tempe was very meaningful to Bellis, not only because of Notre Dame, but because he was a homegrown champion at the Fiesta Bowl. Along with Vince Dooley back at Notre Dame Stadium. A gorgeous Indian summer day turning into a crystal clear night for number 1. The Fighting Irish burying Pitt 45-7. And Bellis got this one, Vince.
Out of the I formation, he's one of just a lot of good football players that can play a lot of positions. Cuts back and spins into the end zone for the 44th point tonight.
And they tacked on the extra one, the 45th. The most points scored by Notre Dame this year. Jermaine Williams with the return this time for Pittsburgh. And down at the 25-yard line. Well, this victory for Notre Dame means a great deal. Pittsburgh is saying they may have the ball. They don't. Notre Dame will retain possession. There was a fumble, but they held on. Let's get down to Jerry Punch, who has a bowl guest, I believe. Right, Jerry?
That's right, Timmy. We have Mr. Tom Wood, who's the president of the Orange Bowl Selection Committee. And Mr. Wood, you and a lot of other bowl scouts here have been watching an impressive Notre Dame performance.
Sure have. It's unbelievable. Had no idea that Notre Dame would win by such a score.
The implications of this game and the game we have to follow down in Tallahassee, Florida, with Florida State and Miami, could pretty well set up your bowl.
Well, right now, the Orange Bowl is fortunate to have the top 4 teams in the country in the run for our bowl. We have Miami, we have Notre Dame, we have Colorado and Nebraska. But this game was very important for Notre Dame and Orange Bowl. Also, tonight's game, FSU against Miami, is extremely important.
Mr. Wood, we'll get back to it just a minute after this play.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Jerry Punch. Jermaine Williams carrying the ball up to the 36-yard line. Yeah, they have to be really pumped up, the Orange Bowl. Steve Hatchell and company, the executive director, because this victory for Notre Dame really does set it up. That Miami-Notre Dame game will be for the Orange Bowl, and so too with that Colorado-Nebraska game, as Scott Stark, number 12, is in at quarterback for the Panthers.
I like the tailback, Jermaine Williams. He's just a freshman. We'll look at him again. He can stop, start. He's strong, too. He's about 220 pounds.
Williams up to the 44-yard line. And let's get back down to Jerry and his guest. Jerry?
Mr. Wood, you know, how valuable is the team like Notre Dame with all the tradition in a major bowl? I mean, they sell a lot of tickets.
Notre Dame is one of the premier teams in the country. And don't forget, this year they have the leading candidate for the Heisman Trophy, Tony Rice. That'll make a bowl game very, very important, not only in a local draw, but a marketing deal for the national television and marketing appeal for national people to come to town. Very important.
Mr. Wood visiting with us from the Orange Bowl along with many other scouts. Let's go back upstairs.
Yeah, that's maybe an understatement that they're one of the premier values to the bowls. Sean Berry carrying for 5, number 42. They mean a heck of a lot. They are college football's #1 franchise. Number 3, Colorado, that team that Jerry's guest was mentioning, a victory over Oklahoma. They'll get Nebraska next, and of course the Cornhuskers burying Iowa State today. Southern Cal still hoping for Rose over the Cardinal, and Houston and Arkansas, the Razorbacks trying to bounce back, tied 7-7 after that Texas loss. Well, boy, there's Williams again, Vince, and you're right. Very good. Inside the 40, down to the 39, DeJuan Francisco and Rod Smith combine on the stop.
I think he's going to get some playing time now. He could be a good relief man for Richardson. Between the two of them, that'd be 2 fine tailbacks in any offense.
Mike Gottfried is hopeful of a quality bowl this year. Certainly has an outstanding chance for it with this ball club. His team was in position last year for a bowl and then lost its last 2 games and missed out. Nice run off tackle from the left side. Number 35, Ricky Turner carrying. Michael Smalls made the stop. As a matter of fact, the 3 fumbles by Darnell Dickerson at Pitt in that game against Notre Dame may have been the difference in an 8-3 or 6-5 year for Pittsburgh. It may have indeed cost the Panthers a chance at a bowl. And you're looking now at Jeff Alm, who had just a remarkable game for the Fighting Irish this afternoon. He, along with Dean Brown, down there chatting. Williams with a marker down at the 34-yard line. With bowl conversation coming to the forefront now as we get the call.
Holding on the offense.
Vince, it would appear that the new rule in the NCAA's involvement backing up the bowl decision by a week really makes it easier now for the bowls and the so-called deals that are made in the closed rooms a week or 2 before they should be.
It's backed up this week, but it goes back to the normal the following year. I'd like to see a rule, and we discussed it in the committee meeting, that we'll back it up permanently. I think we select formally too early, and that causes some problems. It gets some teams in there that shouldn't be and cuts some teams out.
Well, what happens is you have too many either-or situations. Teams are made to know that unless they win this game, or if this team beats that team, they're in trouble. And you'd really rather not see that with these kinds of decisions being made late in a year.
And all the bowls want to make their decision when it's time to make the decision. It's a prestige type thing. So I'd like to see the bowl date be moved back a week.
We met with many of the bowl officials at Dick Rosenthal's home last night. The Notre Dame athletic director really enjoyed visiting with them.
He was very hospitable and had a lovely dinner.
Down to the 41-yard line again is Sean Berry. Clock continues to roll, and don't forget, the Orange Bowl and many other bowls will have their minds on Florida State and Miami. That game coming up immediately following ours. Ron Franklin, Kevin Kiley standing by as the number 9 Seminoles, Bobby Bowden, take on Miami. I know you like Florida State in this game.
I think that Florida State has an excellent opportunity. They're playing well. They have them at home, and they're not going to forget the last couple of years.
Turner on the draw. Ricky Turner is showing that there's a future back there for him, down to the 26-yard line. A rude player of the game. Well, why not? Raghib Ismail, the Rocket, the Notre Dame flanker, had a tremendous game in kick returns and that big long run from the tailback spot to ice this game. And Prentice Wright, the right side linebacker, played so well, turning plays in what was otherwise a dismal defensive showing for the Pitt Panthers.
Orlando Truitt fumbling again, and Turner's on top of it at the 16. Rod Smith made the hit that forced that one to leave Orlando Truitt. And time is running out.
Way to end on a fumble. That's kind of been the story of the night for Pittsburgh.
Well, the countdown was on, but it was stopped because of the fumble, and now they'll start the clock again, and there's the count. Mike.